Over the years, individuals with disability were seen as a problem. They were considered unhealthy and liabilities to the society. Some people would rather believe that they are from the devil or a penalty for the sins of their parents. This discrimination about disability differ from one area to the other. Because of the peculiarities of these disabilities, some of them were referred to as Ogbanje, Emiri, Abiku, and so on.
Yes, there was a lot of negative reactions from friends and families.
My husband's family thought it was a spiritual thing, probably fetish. They even told me I was the one involved.
The thought was, what exactly could have? At first, I thought, wow, maybe this is spiritual. But later, I knew it wasn't spiritual.
Eventually, people began to research into disability, thereby discovering that it is a health condition with extreme diversity. So, in Nigeria, how much do we really know about autism?
Autistic little patient who at the age of 3 was admitted at a child psychiatric
and
hospital.
accessible to all children, including children with disabilities. It means that they'll learn basic life skills, that they'll learn to be able to be independent, and in the long term leads to a more inclusive and accepting community.
My name is Ayeshala Muftel. I'm an autism specialist.
My name is Okumoku Jeremiah. I'm an occupational therapy practitioner.
Yeah, my name is Oluwatosin Bimidu. I'm a psychologist and I work here in Patrick's.
Hello, my name is Dotsun Akonde. I am the founder and director of Puresouls Learning Foundation and Patrick Speech and Languages Center, the first center for children and adults with autism in Nigeria.
Autism spectrum disorder is a complicated developmental condition that affects a child's social skills, behavioral pattern, verbal and non-verbal communication. It weakens the child's ability to communicate and interact, varying from one person to the other. While some cases of autism are minor, some may need lifelong care and support. This disorder varies widely in the way it affects people.
Amongst other individuals with neurodiverse needs, process sensory information differently. That means sometimes they are a bit hypersensitive to what we usually would take in from the environment without a challenge. Because of their hypersensitivities, they struggle with tolerating touch from peers, tolerating different textures at meal times, socializing.
Before, my son wouldn't sit in church or anywhere for that matter.
His behavior, he had an inappropriate behavior. He had many of them. One of them was the climbing of windows. He would just want to climb windows, the burglaries, and wants to just be going higher. And once he's getting higher, he won't be able to find himself down. And so we want to fall down. And when we are not there, when there's no adults there, at times he falls down and he sustains serious injury.
Autism is diagnosed by different tools. So you can use what we call the Assessment of Basic Language and Learning tool, that is called the ABLES, or you can use observation or a combination of both, depending on the age of the child. If the child is very young, the ABLES is very effective And there are so many tools out there, actually. And it's the doctors that diagnose. People like us are not meant to diagnose. We are just supposed to manage the children.
According to the World Health Organization, over 50 million children have a developmental disability, and about 1 in 160 children is estimated worldwide to have autism spectrum disorder.
The first thing they want to know is what happened. What happened at birth? How was he? What were the signs? What did you see? And then your experience growing up. How was his developmental milestones? Did he sit at the right time? Was he able to walk at the right time? Did he speak at 12 months? So technically, they would ask you, what are the challenges you saw? Or how was the development? How was the pregnancy? Was the pregnancy, did you have cesarean section or did you have natural birth? So you have to, they would ask those questions to give them an idea of what happened during pregnancy. Were you ill at any point during pregnancy? Did you fall at any point during the pregnancy? So these are some of the questions you get from when you are getting the assessments done.
My name is Shekumade Modupe. My son's name is Oluwatimileyin Shekumade. He's 5 years old.
My name is Mrs. Oritoke Abioye Aluko-Olokun. I'm the mother of Oluwaseun Aluko-Olokun, a 42-year-old son with autism.
I thought it was because I was sick when I was pregnant. Because from inception, when I had my pregnancy test and found out I was pregnant, about like 2 months, I was very sick, and I was sick up until the 7th month of his pregnancy. So I thought it was because I was sick, and the pregnancy was not smooth.
I didn't know he had autism initially. After I had measles vaccination for him, he had measles and chickenpox in quick succession. It was after the viral infection that I noticed he was hyperactive. He would jump from one table to the other, from one chair to the table and all that.
My son was diagnosed in 2000, born 1998, diagnosed in 2000. And he was diagnosed at a time where nobody knew what autism was.
As stated by the Autism Society in the publication Next Steps, a guide for families new to autism in the Living with Autism series launched in 2006, autism has no single cause. It was once thought to be a psychological disorder caused by traumatic experiences, leading to emotional and societal withdrawal. This is not true. Today, researchers believe that several genes, possibly in combination with autism, have also shown abnormalities in several regions of the brain, including the cerebellum, amygdala, and hippocampus. While these findings are substantial, they require further study.
The statistics is alarming, and the reason why it's rising, nobody knows right now. The jury is out, actually, on that. There has been no statistics to tell us this is the reason why we are seeing an increase in the number of families having children with autism. So we've had to just work with some of the things that we know around us, the environmental factors, to look at, is this something we are eating? Is it the air pollution? Did something happen to the mother or was the mother ill at any point in time? So the jury is actually out on that. The main challenge we see with couples and families is their ability to accept. They normally say, it's not my portion. You know how we are in Nigeria and how we don't take these things to heart. We feel something that we have done or something that we have sinned, or maybe the sin that we have committed at some point in time is the reason why we have a child on the spectrum.
I took him to the hospital just like I said before. They couldn't help. Nobody knew anything about autism at the time. If you know that my child is 42 years old, 42, maybe 40 years ago, nobody knew what autism was all about in Nigeria?
Yes, there was a lot of negative reactions from friends and families. I'll take one as an instance. My neighbor, my former neighbor, there was a time she told myself and my husband that, is this our son? She saw our son, she saw my son. And at that moment, she said, is this my son that makes noise and makes sounds like a pussycat to our face? And you know, I looked at my husband's face, and both of us bowed down our head and, you know, later raised it up. And, you know, we didn't reply. We just smiled and said, yes, he is our son. But it wasn't making sound as a pussycat, just that you don't understand him. And that was it. Apart from that, we had other experiences, stigmatization outside there, outright, you know, rejection. That, where is this your son? Even in the church where we worship, many times they had to call me and tell me that I didn't train my son.
My husband didn't help either. And after all the punishments I received for what I didn't do, he divorced me and sent me packing. So that was when I became a single parent, having to look after Sheung all alone.
Typically what happens is the husband says, I don't know where you got this child from. There's nobody in my family, no member of my family has ever had anything that looks like this. So it must come from somewhere in your own family. And then the woman starts to, you know, get agitated and anxiety sets in, and then they don't do anything about it. They don't take the child in for an assessment. A diagnosis is not conducted. So the child grows up in a hostile environment. And we know that the environment that the child grows up in matters, that, you know, helps to get that child to a place of, I wouldn't say perfection, but to reach the child's full potential.
Despite the awareness about autism spectrum disorder, people with autism still face stigmatization, discrimination, and human rights abuses. This is due to the lack of basic understanding of this disorder. The negative effect of this biased treatment towards these individuals cannot be overemphasized. As at 2020, there are reportedly over 27 million Nigerians living with some form of disability. Special assistance is needed to impact the lives of those affected positively and give them access to the basic necessities of life.
Functional life skills. When the children can't take any more academics, we switch to functional life skills. Functional life skills is what we encourage even from the very, very beginning. So the self-help skills and the kind of creating what that child can do without anybody's help.
I'm in charge of yellow class in Patrick's, and most of the things we do in yellow class is functional life skill. And what I mean by functional life skill is that we do laying of bed, we go for shopping, we do washing of plates. The basis of all these things is that children have to be independent of themselves. Mommy and daddy cannot always be there at all times.
We help them to improve their performance component skills. And by this I mean underlying skills that we use in getting tasks done, holding the pencil to write, coordinating our movement. So we help the children improve their fine motor skills, their gross motor skills, their bilateral coordination skills, and their cognitive skills, amongst others.
Practice Speech and Languages Center, we are kind of an advocate for parent involvement, because we always believe that the children spend most times and more time with their parents than they do at school. So most times we're always organizing one training and the other for parents to get involved with what they need to do with the children.
Patrick Speech and Languages Center, in conjunction with Puresouls Learning Foundation, has helped a lot of people with a basic understanding of this disorder through its over 80 training sessions organized for families and caregivers of children with developmental disability.
We started it out, I think, in 2018 to support families. So what would happen is that we'll put everybody together, we'll go out and do a radio call for parents that are struggling with their children with, we would say disability, but we actually call it discoverable ability because we feel that there's something that we need to discover in each and every one of these children. So by the time we give that call out and then we get the parents to come in to bring their children, we look at what the challenges are, and then we start to prepare them to engage them and train them on how to manage children in the home environment.
In the school, they don't concentrate on the children alone. They hold classes with parents and they teach us how to handle these children. These children are hyperactive because they cannot express themselves and we don't understand them.
For the training, yes, I have been involved and I'm still involved. At the moment now, I attended Patrick Training Academy year 2020, and now I'm trained as a special needs therapist.
Consistency is the key in working with these children, and it's not everyone that can have this.
Oluwatimileyin Shekumade has greatly improved because now he's very good with his academics. He knows that there's a time for this, there's a time for that. He knows reactions, he knows emotions, he knows when, he knows what to do, he knows how to help out at home. He does so many things in his academics, and he's also good in music too now. He's doing very well.
At home, he has been very helpful. He makes his bed, he cleans himself, he knows what to do at any point in time. Before we go to bed, he knows he's supposed to shut the window louvers or glasses and put down the curtains. He won't even allow anybody to do it. He has taken it as his own duty.
When he now went into secondary school, he still struggled with expressive language skills, even though his receptive language skill became very strong. So we waited to see how the mathematical instinct in him would turn out. By the time he got to year 9, when he had to choose his subjects, when things don't change, he suddenly just excelled. Maths, physics, chemistry, ICT, music, anything that doesn't change, he would get an A star in it. And immediately the school recognized it, thankfully, and they immediately put him into an after-school program or like a support program for those that were struggling with mathematics. And that's how he excelled. And of course, he went on to the university. Before he went to university, I kept him here for 1 year and I taught him banking. We made him go to driving school to learn how to drive. Just the basic life skills that he needed since he was going out of the country anyway. And then he got into the universities to study mathematics. He made a first class in mathematics. He's currently doing his PhD in mathematics. We are super proud of him.
An environment that is tailored to suit the needs of these children allows them to bloom and develop their talents. Some of them love to draw, paint, play music instruments, and even mathematics.
I want to thank Patrick School and Languages, most especially Mrs. Akande, for being so compassionate.
I really just want to thank God because, first of all, I want to thank God for Patrick Speech and Language Center. Secondly, I want to thank God for the support system that they gave us at Patrick Speech and Language Center because it was overwhelming.
I'm a proud mother of not only my son, but all the people that have passed through the school. When I hear and I see some of the things that they've done in their various fields, I am proud. I'm proud.
To find out more about Patrick Speech and Languages Center, visit www.pslcautism-ng.org or call 080-330-19865 or 070-5 550-28215.